Hello, and welcome back to Mr. B Teaches History. Today's lecture will focus on how the home front was affected by the Great War in Europe. If you want more information on this topic from a world history perspective, check out the videos in the World History playlist. So let's get started. The United States was in a race against time when it joined the war to prevent a German knockout punch to the Allied forces. Many wartime agencies were created and staffed by experts in business and government to get the domestic economy humming under wartime conditions. The War Industries Board established centralized control over raw materials, prices, and the production of war materials. The Food Administration encouraged Americans to eat less meat and bread so it could be shipped to British and French soldiers. The Fuel Administration closed non-essential factories and enacted daylight savings to save coal for military vessels. The Railroad Administration took control of the railroads to coordinate traffic and standardize equipment. The National War Labor Board arbitrated labor disputes, usually to the benefit of the worker, so that factories stayed open and operating. Liberty bonds and increased taxes raised over $33 billion for the war, though it still drove the United States into debt. World War I was actually one of the most unpopular wars in U.S. history, so the government used patriotic persuasion and legal intimidation to ensure public support. The Committee on Public Information used volunteer artists, writers, and performers to depict the heroism of U.S. soldiers and villainy of the enemy. The war gave nativists the freedom to express their prejudices of minorities by charging them with disloyalty, including vigilante actions against all things German. Lutheran churches often stepped away from services in German for English at this time. Over 2,000 socialists and pacifists were also jailed under the Sedition Act for their disloyal and abusive remarks about the U.S. government, and anyone who tried to incite rebellions or obstructed the draft were imprisoned for the espionage. The Supreme Court said the Espionage Act was constitutional because the distribution of pamphlets against the draft presented a clear and present danger to public safety. To meet the needs of the military, almost 2 million men between the ages of 21 and 30 were drafted, using local draft boards to ensure all groups of the population would be called into service. Another 2 million volunteered, but only half of those who volunteered or drafted made it to the front lines. Almost 400,000 African Americans served in segregated units too. At home, more women took on jobs vacated by men, and as volunteers, which convinced President Woodrow Wilson to support the passage of the 19th Amendment. Many Mexican and African Americans migrated into and within the United States to work in jobs vacated by those joining the military. Over 1 million African Americans moved north and were motivated for this for several reasons. First, the bad race relations, segregation, and violence in the South, and limited economic opportunities. Secondly, the boll weevil destroyed their cotton crops. Even with this great migration, African Americans suffered racial tensions and discrimination in northern cities and states.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or clarifications you would like to make about this lecture, please leave a comment below. If you learned something new, please consider leaving a like. If you would like to receive notifications of more content like this, please consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell. If you would like to support this channel and creator financially, please check out the links in the description for merchandise or sites that will provide me direct financial support for the work of this channel. Thank you for your time and have a great day. Class dismissed.